Welcome back to episode 14 of Culture Cast. Today, big day, man. Everything is over.
Yeah,
Just like we were talking about the other day. This thing's going to end as quickly as it started. And now we're sitting here, Germany standing tall in a good way for the first time. Just jokes. Yeah. But huge weekend of upsets and
yeah,
blown brackets. If you are a bettor and a gambler, boy howdy, did you lose money? Because I don't think anyone here would predict that the U.S. would not even make top three. But here we are.
yeah.
So there's a lot to get into. We are going to, because when we left off having done the quarterfinals. So we are going to start here with the semifinals. Then we're going to move in to the match for third place between the US and Canada, and then the actual final itself. And then we're going to get into awards, just stuff like that, and talk about kind of, our overall thoughts of the tournament. And that should do it. There hasn't really been anything else around the league since we last uploaded. When we did upload, there was a shit ton that happened in like the span of 5 hours. So
Yeah.
back in another lull. But other than that, we'll get right into it, man. Semifinals, we got Serbia and Canada starting it off here. 95-86 victory for Serbia to move on to the finals. You could get right into it, man.
So yeah, man. I mean, like we were mentioning, they had to have a high-powered offensive game. They did just that. Shot 62% from the field to comparative to Canada's 48%, 45% from three to 37%. Free throws 81% to Canada to Serbia's 70%. Assist tied at 18 apiece. Offensive rebounds 10-7 for Serbia. Defensive rebounds 23-15 Serbia. 33 rebounds to 22. They had very good big man play the whole tournament. They were great on the boards the whole tournament, and they showed that once again. Steals 9-8 in favor of Canada, tied at 2 blocks apiece. 17 turnovers for Serbia to 13, 24 fouls for Canada to 21. Fast break points 14-13 for Serbia, 46 points in the paint for Serbia to 32, 30 points from the bench to 18 from Serbia. You have Serbia leading this game for 36 minutes. So I mean, they had a great offensive game. Like we were saying, that's the only way we thought that they were going to pull it off. And they
Yeah.
had just that. They shot great as a unit. They had lots of contributing from different players. I mean, I'll get into the stats from Nikola Milutinov, who's been a very solid big man the whole tournament. And I believe he
Yeah.
was top 2 in rebounds last time we were doing this in a
Yeah,
game.
and won all second team or got on the all second team for the tournament. So
Yeah, he had 16, 10, and 2. You have Bogdan, who had 23, 4, and 3. Nikola Jovic, 8, 1, and 1. You have Marko Guduric, 12, 2, and 1. Stefan Jovic, 2 and 5. Alexa Avramovic, 10, 1, and 2. And you have Ognin Dobric, 16, 1, and 1. So a lot of solid contributing from this team once again. So, I mean, we all knew this team was a great team, and we knew they were going to go pretty far, but to do what they did to Canada in this fashion, it was very surprising to me. I personally thought they somewhat had a chance, but I definitely favored Canada in this matchup, to say the least. And then getting on to Canada's, you have Dylan Brooks, 16, 3, and 1. RJ Barrett, 23, 3, and 2. Dwight Powell, 5, 3, and 1. SGA, 15, 2, and 9. Nikhil Alexander Walker, 10, 1, and 0. Dort, 3, 3, and 0. Olenek, 9, 3, and 4. So not even a really bad performance from that squad. More so that Serbia was just better offensively, and that's what it came down to. Do you have the attempts from three on that game?
yeah, 9 of 20 for Serbia and 10 of 27 for Canada.
Yes, I mean it's not even that it was really far off in the makes. It was just more so the
The
attempts
attempts, yeah.
were definitely in favor of Serbia there. So yeah, I mean they had a great game, man. I don't know. Anytime I see a score and you're shooting 45% from three, you usually line it up pretty well. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is, man. They came in, they played well, they had a great tournament. I mean, you
Yeah.
beat Canada, arguably the second best team, maybe in some people's eyes the first best team. I mean, you came in, you knocked out a powerhouse like that. You punched him in the mouth, and you went all the way to the finals. I mean, you did it without
Keeping them under
Nikola
90
Jokic.
points. Yeah, exactly.
You
Like
did it without
again,
Nikola Jokic, man. So
they're technically down like the best player in the world. So it's,
I
like
hey, I mean,
to hold Team Canada under 90 points is very impressive.
Very one of the highest scoring teams in the whole tournament. So I mean,
Yeah.
you did your job. You did a great. They had a great game plan and they did great offensively. So I have no complaints from Serbia. They killed it, man. That was a great game.
Yeah, and to have you multiple, I mean, you had two guys coming off the bench in double figures. That's huge. Canada did not get a single guy off the bench outside of Nikhil Alexander-Walker in double figures off the bench. I mean, only two other guys scored off the bench. There are 4 zeros coming off the bench for Team Canada. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah,
It's
man.
not going to cut it.
Yeah, they played very sloppy for what we
I
were
will say, Nikola Jovic though never took that step. We've been saying he takes that next step. This team is just on a whole nother level. And it's just a lot of 8 points, 7 points, 9 points, 5 points, 9 points. Like he hasn't really gotten to lighting things up yet. However, Bogdan improving and that bench production is definitely there. So
I mean, hey, they'll be scary next year in the Olympics, man. I definitely would expect more from Jovic next Olympics, man. I mean, like we said, he's a young guy, but yeah, I would have liked him seen take a bigger role on the offensive side of the ball for them. Great defensively for them, but yeah, I'd like to see a lot more offensive production from him next time around. I think that'll take this team to a different level, which they're already very great.
Exactly, yeah. Moving on from there, we got one of the highlight games of this tournament. Germany beating Team USA 113 to 111. That was a stunner to wake up to. We had talked about Germany, like they could cause some problems, but I didn't seriously think it was going to happen.
Dude,
I know you had your doubts, but
dude, I mean, yeah, I knew Germany was a powerhouse, but man, I did not think they would do this. Like that was, I was at work and I was checking my phone because it was on around like, I think it ended around 7 something. So I usually wait. I work at 5 a.m. So I was checking it the whole time and I was like, man, they were beating them pretty good the whole game too. It wasn't necessarily close until the fourth quarter. It wasn't a very close game.
Yeah, so, US only really caught up in the fourth quarter, scoring 27 points to Germany's 19. But you got 2 quarters here from Germany scoring 33 points and 35 points. That's huge. So
no, dude,
yeah.
So we'll get right into it with that. You have Team USA shooting 58% from the field to 57% from Germany, 48% from 3 to 43% for the USA, 95% from the free throw line for USA to 81%. Assist 30 to 25 for Germany. Offensive rebounds 12 to 7, defensive rebounds 18 to 21, and Germany takes that by 30 to 28 in total rebounds, 6 steals to 5 for USA, 5 blocks to 3 for USA, 10 turnovers to Germany to 9, 21 fouls to Germany to 17 for USA. You have Germany having 50 paint points, and you have USA having 44 points from the bench, though, man. USA 39 to Germany's 23, and not even to mention it's a very weird stat line looking at this whole game because USA is kind of not that far off if they are.
It's right there,
and they're winning some like good amount of categories. So it's a weird thing to look at. And 30 minutes, Germany was leading this game, man. And I can't say it enough, man. They were very small. USA played small again, and they paid for it, man. I think personally, if they would have given Walker a few more minutes this game, it could have been a whole different game. I definitely do not understand why he wasn't seeing more minutes this game, man, because they absolutely bullied us. And Jaren Jackson, he had a rough tournament, man, and he was one of our highlighted big men coming into the whole tournament. So I mean,
led the league in blocks, won Defensive Player of the Year last season. So I mean, this was supposed to be a showing out party of just how damn good he is. Because if he's doing that against NBA talent, I mean, you'd expect him to do it in spades against other teams, but.
Voted the best player too by the players of this Team USA team before going into the tournament. They all favored him as the best. So I mean, it was tough to see that. But I mean, I gotta get into this Germany stat line, man, because I gotta say, man, Andres Opt killed the US, bro. Killed
24.
Bad, man. So you had 24 and 6. You have Jonas Tiemann, 10-5 and 1. Mo Wagner, my bad, 10-0 and 2. Daniel Tice, 21-7 and 2. Strong performance
Yes,
again.
sir.
Franz, man,
My
22,
boy.
5-2, man. Jonas Voigtman, 6, 7-5. Isaac Bonga, 3-0-1, and Schroeder, 17, 2-9. So then again, you're having these strong performances from the candidates you expect. And I can't say it enough, man. Tice, Franz, De Schroeder, and Mo all killed this whole series. Andres, too, man. He was great the whole series. The whole
Yeah.
turn killer. They had a team of great players, and they all meshed very well together in the time they had. And I can't say that enough. I think out of every team, I think they definitely meshed the best. They looked great every time they played together. And I mean, they didn't lose a single game the whole tournament.
Yeah, only undefeated team.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm pretty sure you have to be undefeated to win. I'm not positive. But still, again, they missed like half this tournament with Franz Wagner. They didn't have him.
Yeah, man.
And Schroeder carried the load. Andres, he kept in it. Mo Wagner had himself a couple good games. You've seen a couple good performances from Aldo Low. Like, this was a very good Germany team.
Yeah.
And I mean, Daniel Tice dropping 21-7 is just hilarious.
That value this whole tournament's been up, man. He's been killing it the whole time. I mean, you mentioned it first time we got into FIBA, really, man. You said look out for him, and he's been killing it the whole time, dude.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a performance for him.
Yeah.
Resurgence, really. Again, I mean, he spent last season just chilling in Indiana, not really doing much. So
he still has plenty of value, and maybe teams see that. I mean,
yeah,
he's on a, I guess I would say, a tanking Indiana team last year.
Yeah,
I don't know if Indiana maybe necessarily takes that next step yet, but I do think they have a very bright future. I don't think he's around though, but
he's not going to be playing. They've got Jabari Smith. They've got they just drafted what's his name? Jarris Walker. He's a forward.
Benedict Mathurin. You have a lot of different types of players there.
Miles is still there. Plus, they have Isaiah Jackson as well.
Yeah,
like they've got a lot of 4s and 5s on that roster, and I mean, I'd be shocked if Daniel Tice really was a part of that group.
I don't see it, man.
Again, lucky for him, his value's up. So, we saw. I don't know if you saw. I talked about there was like no signings that happened. Portland signed George Condit, who played for Puerto Rico, I think it was. I think it was Puerto Rico. If I'm wrong, my apologies. But Condit signed with the Blazers for having a great performance in this tournament. So
that's cool, man. That's good to see that.
We were talking about that. It's like if you show out here, like again, for lucky for Daniel Tice, this is against Team USA.
Yeah.
If this was against Italy, I don't think many people would be like, oh, it's Italy. Okay, let's hold our brakes here. But to do it against Team USA, that's impressive. Again, Jaren starting for Team USA here and having Paolo and Bobby Portis coming off the bench. I mean, regardless of what you want to say about going small, like the big men they still run with are still damn good. So
big time. Yeah, no, that's why it's. Yeah, I'll get into that USA stat line, man, because you got Paulo 17 minutes, 6, 2, and 3. Triple J 18 minutes, 8, 3, and 0. Josh Hart 19 minutes, 9, 5, and 1. A DMP from Brandon Ingram, Walker Kessler, Jalen Brunson 15, 1, and 7. Edwards 23, 8, and 3. Portis 5, 2, and 0. Halliburton 7, 1, and 8. Mikhail 17, 2, and 3. Cam Johnson 4 minutes, no stat line. It looks like Austin Reeves 24 minutes, 21, and 2. So it's not like they had a lot of diverse scoring. They had a lot of diverse stat lines. It's just, I don't know, man. From when I was watching, it just there's times where I think they kind of just got bullied and they didn't play as physical as I thought they would have. And
they went defensive too. I mean, starting Michael, starting Brunson, Josh Hart, Jaren, like this was a defensive lineup.
Yeah.
To roll out there. I mean, you see the scoring off the bench with Reeves having 21.
Yeah.
Like this was a quality lineup to put out there, but I agree, not literally getting a DMP from Walker Kessler. I mean, you're playing European teams, man. Going small just isn't quite the move. I mean, I get it if you're playing against a team like Puerto Rico, or not Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, who's running Karl Anthony Towns, who can spread the floor.
Yeah.
Or playing like Latvia, who's got Davis Bertans and stuff like that. But, Germany, Daniel Tice can space the floor. He's not, I don't think he's a 3-point shooter he once was. Mo Wagner can shoot the three,
Yeah.
but he's a little more dynamic. Like this is they want us this Steve Kerr led team wants to, they want to switch. They want to
Yeah.
play a lot of versatile defense, be able to just do a ton of stuff at once. But you're right, like just not having the ultimate size to compete. I mean, like in a game as close as this one, the 12 offensive rebounds there for Germany. I I
Sleep
mean,
a little bit, man.
it doesn't seem like too much, but it
Yeah,
is
no,
at
it's
the end of the
bigger. It's a
day.
lot more than you think. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a game that's, comes down to a point essentially or 2 points, like, one or two of those getting snagged by Walker Kessler changes everything. So,
I mean,
um,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think it was not a misplay, but I definitely think it was a missed opportunity to go a little bigger there because you gotta remember that they have a pretty big team, man. You got
yeah,
Franz, you don't even expect it. He's like 6'9" or 6'10", and I mean,
Schroeder's like their smallest dude, and he's like
yeah,
6'2", 6'3".
yeah,
So,
exactly. And he's just
yeah,
they're bigger than you'd expect, and they play very physical. So I mean,
yeah,
I just think USA got bullied a bit, man, in that aspect of physicality. It was interesting, but I mean, small ball is very fun to watch, and I do like it a lot, and I enjoy it. But I think at times having different approaches to
yeah,
different teams like that, it definitely would have made more sense. I think to go a little bit more minutes for Walker Kessler. I'm not saying play him like 20 or 30. I'm just saying maybe 10, maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah, just a different look. Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, in the third quarter, they didn't have a very strong third quarter, which they usually have had the whole tournament.
exactly. Yeah,
They got shut down a bit comparative to how Germany performed in the third quarter. So I mean, it is what it is, and I mean, it's Germany. It was a very good team. It's not like it was a random team. It was still a very good team, but yeah, it is a bit of a disappointment, I would say, to lose in that fashion.
yeah. To me, it's just like at this point, small ball is definitely more so for the NBA because the NBA has so
Yeah,
many different lineup types. But
I'm with you.
again, most of these other countries, they're gonna run a genuine center. They're gonna
Yeah,
play traditional basketball. A
yeah,
couple of the European countries may go in a kind of like progressive manner, but the rest are probably just gonna stay traditional. So
yeah,
running small ball just feels a little counterproductive. So I agree with you there. But not just yeah, that's a brutal way to lose because now you're in a match for the bronze medal.
yeah,
And US gets matched up here with Canada,
yeah.
and that
And
did not go well for the Patriots. I'll tell you
not
that.
whatsoever, man. So you got Canada and US both shooting 51% from the field. You have Canada shooting 46% from three to 37%, 85% from the free throw line to 75% for Canada, 29 assists for Canada to 21, 15 offensive rebounds to 11 for USA, 29 defensive rebounds for Canada to 28, total rebounds USA 43 to 40, 6 steals apiece, 5 blocks for Canada to 3, 14 turnovers for USA to 12, 24 fouls for Canada to 21, and you have 48 paint points from the USA to 40. You have 46 points from the bench from USA again. Very strong bench production the whole tournament. No complaints there. 27 points from turnovers though for Canada, man. They made best of those turnovers and they killed it with those. And you have Canada leading for 35 minutes of this game, man.
Yeah, and a 9-point win. So again, it's not even that the US is just like getting blown out here. It's like these are close games, but close games are typically where you see where the real better team is.
Yeah, man.
I mean, just looking at that overtime, 16 points to 7 in favor of Canada. Um, again, this is the second game in a row we've seen from them too, where the U.S. is getting outscored in the third quarter. Not only getting outscored, but the second time in a row where their opponent has scored 30 or more in
Yeah.
that third quarter. That is rough. Granted, both games, the U.S. had a strong fourth quarter, 29 to 20 here, and I think 29 to 17 in the other game.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a very rough performance. And we were talking about it like this was kind of the game of the century for Dylan Brooks here.
Yeah.
39
Yeah.
points. Player of the game, obviously torched Team USA, which
For sure, man.
if you're
Yeah.
a Dylan Brooks hater, this was a rough day to like basketball. But
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
Do you have a shooting from three? Was he 7 for 8 or what was it?
Let's see
Or
here.
something really
Um,
like ridiculous. I think I have it right here. 7 for 8.
7 for 8 from three.
7 for 8
Jesus.
from three, man. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's not, you don't want that. You do
shot
not want that.
free throws too, man. I mean, he absolutely obliterated Team USA. And to move on from there, man, you have Kelly Olynyk, 11-2-2, RJ 23-7-2, Dwight Powell 4-7-3, Melvin Najim 3-4-2, SGA 31-6-12, Nikhil Alexander Walker 5-0-1, Dort 11-6-2. So I mean, a lot. Then again, another diverse scoreboard for them. A lot of contributors this game. A lot of familiar NBA faces killing Team USA in this game, man. I mean, you have three people in freaking 20
20
plus.
or more. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just
I mean,
that's
a combined 80 points between Brooks and
oh
Shea. Like,
man, dude, two players, man, and I don't know, man. I mean, we'll get on.
Rockets fans got to be happy to see
Yeah,
Dylan Brooks looking like this.
he has showing life, man. I mean, every time you drop 39, that's was that tied for the tournament high or no?
I think wasn't a 37 by Luca.
Oh man, so Brooks had the tournament. Oh my
Oh
god.
man, the
Oh
memes.
man, that is a. I mean, hey, he's a very solid player in his own right, but
They're giving
that's
this guy more and more reason to talk
offensively,
shit. Yeah.
he's not the biggest offensive superstar, so that's something. But we'll move on to USA here. We got Reeves 23-5-1, Brunson 13-1-2, Edwards 24-5-3, Portis 14-6-1, Cameron Johnson 3-1-1. You have two DMPs from Paulo and Brandon Ingram, Mikhail 19-9-4, Tyrese 6-5-7, Walker Kessler 6-7-0, Josh Hart 10-1-2, and a DNP from Jaren Jackson Jr. So
Yeah, this is the game, of course, that Walker Kessler plays in the game where it
man,
makes more sense to run
to run
small.
the small ball, exactly. You're
Yeah.
running against a weaker center lineup with Kelly Olynyk and Dwight
Yeah.
Powell, and you
Dwight
go,
Powell is like not even a real he doesn't play
oh
great defense at
no,
all, really. He's just a rim runner. Like that's
yeah, he's
literally his entire game.
a very
Um,
athletic rim runner that has zero defensive instincts or
Offensive
a lot
instincts
of
outside of
effort.
just
Yeah,
jumping at the rim. Yeah. So to
so
to run Walker Kessler here,
yeah,
Steve Kerr, man, you're making us
questionable.
look bad.
Yeah, questionable coaching decisions from Kerr the last two games, man. I have to say, before I had no complaints realistically with him, and this game I definitely have a few because yeah, like we mentioned, you go a little bigger in this game when you're going against a smaller team, but you go I don't know. It's interesting right there.
To
He's
me,
the
yeah,
coach. I don't know.
yeah, and like we talked about it at the very start of this tournament. Tyrese Halliburton, in my opinion, I don't know why Brunson is starting over him. Like, I agree. I would agree that
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson is a better scorer
definitely.
overall,
Yeah.
but Tyrese Halliburton, like 6, 5, and 7 coming off the bench.
Yeah, man.
Inflate that with starting numbers. Again, he nearly led the league in assists, or did. I think he was second behind,
Second
or
Harden.
second or third behind Trae Young and James Harden. One of
Oh,
those.
yeah, you know what? It
Um,
might be Trae Young, actually. You're right.
yeah, I think Harden led the league, and then I think it was Trae Young, and then I think it was Halliburton. Halliburton was an all-star. He shot
Yeah.
like 40% from three,
Yeah.
averaged like nearly 20 points per game, and damn
Uh-huh.
near 10 boards, like seven, I think, 6 or 7. This dude should have been starting in the entire tournament.
Yeah.
I'm also confused about the whole Brandon Ingram situation. Brandon Ingram, like again, before the tournament even started, we were saying like if anybody on this team is really like a technical superstar, it's
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram. So the fact that like his minutes in this entire thing have just been
It's a stud.
non-existent,
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is there. But it's been a little ugly. Like, I mean, sometimes it feels like you can have too much talent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's what it feels like here because it's just like, uh, I'm looking at this team and I could think of a lot better starting lineups than what they ran out there. I mean, not only did they play Walker Kessler, he started.
Yeah.
So
He probably realistically probably shouldn't have. And
no, probably shouldn't even have played. I mean, you got
yeah,
Bobby Portis sitting there. You could run Jaron at the 5, and you can have what's his name, Cam Johnson, run a speed 5 if you were really like down to it.
they just ran Paul at the 5 again, man.
Exactly, him
So
too.
many different options you have. I just like you mentioned, dude, it's such a smaller team comparative. It's not a
Yeah,
strong defensive team rim protection wise. Perimeter wise, yes, they are phenomenal perimeter wise defensively, but at the rim, they're not. They have no very known rim protector or good rim protection whatsoever. So I don't know. It kind of boggles my head that you went big this game, but you go small against the bigger team. I don't know. It's really confusing to me. I'm
yeah.
trying to understand it a bit more. But I mean, do you have the free throws? Because I don't think it was like
24 of 32 for USA, 24 of 28 for Canada.
yeah,
So
okay, so pretty identical. So that's
yeah,
something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a very weird game. I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, it was that
it's just the
was
threes. Like Canada had 17. They
yeah,
had 7 more threes than Team USA.
yeah. 21
21
points
point
right there,
swing.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's right
So
there. I mean, yeah, it's a. I personally think that one is a bit more embarrassing than Germany, to be honest, to not even get bronze. I mean,
exactly, and like I know, you know, Team USA is always going to be sitting guys.
oh
Like
yeah,
that's just the NBA nowadays. Everybody wants to sit. Nobody wants to like tough it out and go out there.
yeah,
So Jaron DMP didn't want to play. Paolo DMP didn't want to play. Ingram DMP didn't want to play. Like even though like I get they have their eyes set on the actual season and trying to win with their teams. I get it.
yeah,
I'm not an idiot. However, it's a bad look for one. It shows a lack of competitiveness and it
yeah,
shows a lack of care for the tournament itself. It's
yeah,
like you're still like this is not just like a whatever game. You're still fighting for a medal. And to just pretty much say, I don't give a fuck. I'm not like you let Walker play. I don't
yeah.
care.
Hey, I mean, they went out and got embarrassed, man. I mean,
Yeah.
they
And it's
I
kind of
think
embarrassing to see. It's like, I mean, like
yeah,
it's such a bad look to see like 3 of your best players just say, I don't actually care. This
yeah.
was
I
all
mean,
just for fun.
this is one of those tournaments, man, where if you would have told me Germany and Serbia were the last two teams standing, I wouldn't have been like the most shocked in the planet, but I would have told you I don't see that. I don't I wouldn't have saw a universe where either Canada or US didn't make that last two game. Like I personally thought those two have to be one of those two have to be in the final. They have to be in the last. They have to be in the gold medal game. There's
Yeah.
no way not. And I mean,
Well,
it,
especially after USA losing to Germany, it's
yeah,
like you'd think that they would be like, oh fuck no, we are not losing to Canada. And
yeah.
they're like, okay, well, whatever.
I
It's
mean,
just basketball.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, they definitely. I wonder if this ignites a fire under some of the NBA players that didn't accept the invitation, like the Kevin Durant's, the Curry, like someone like along
I
the
think
line.
it'll just ignite all the other teams across the world. Like they're
I
just
think
gonna
it
see
will.
Team
They're beatable.
USA and be
We're
like, they
beatable.
don't give a fuck. Let's
Yeah,
just go
we're
in there and smack them in the mouth.
very beatable now. I mean, I would hope they get the best players to come play, but I don't see that ever
Yeah.
happening again, to be honest. So I mean, but I think basketball belongs to Europe for right now, man. Yeah,
Yeah, the way they're pumping out star power,
they
it's pretty
basketball
ridiculous.
basketball's going to Europe, man. I mean, they're great, man. They're getting better every year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, it's good to see though. It's really good to see that the world has gotten so much better. I mean, I know people always talk about how great the dream team was and such, but I don't think they never got to play against talent this great.
Nowhere near. And
And
that's no
I
slight to things. It's just like,
yeah, I personally
yeah,
think there are the reasons why there's a lot of basketball going around in the world now, but
100%.
I don't
Yeah.
think they ever got to play against teams like these because there's a lot of great players in these tournaments from different countries, man. I mean, Franz Wagner, upcoming star, and he's playing very well for his country. I mean, it's a lot of different people, man. I mean, it's SGA, first team All NBA player playing for Canada, man. I mean, you got a lot of different guys playing. Luca, first team All NBA player, he's playing for his country, man. I mean, you got so much talent nowadays that it's kind of crazy to think that that's how far basketball's come. I mean, it's cool. It is really cool, and I just think the world gets better. I don't see a
Yeah.
I think we'll see more from the Philippines, more from the Asian countries. I think will start going up in the next few years. I definitely think Europe's just going to keep getting stronger. I mean, they're phenomenal. But yeah, no, I think those countries are they're all getting better, man. And I mean, that's something to look out for the U.S. I don't know if they ever win a medal again, dude, because
Yeah. Well,
they
especially players like with like cultural pride at home. Again,
yeah.
like Jalen Green and Jordan Clarkson don't have to play for the Philippines.
Hmm.
Like they're half. They
Yeah,
could play for either. And they
yeah,
chose the Philippines. If more player like if Paolo chose Italy, or if these dudes just choose like whatever culture they come from, now now the US is like, dude, what are we? Who are we? Just is it just Austin Reeves out there?
yeah. I
It's
mean,
like,
because man, yeah, we yeah, that was
man,
bad, man. I mean, I don't know. I
you
that
don't
was
want to go out like that.
that
No.
lot three losses in the last four games, man.
Yeah, Lithuania first, then
Yeah.
Germany, then Canada. Brutal.
I mean the last two strong basketball countries, sure, but man, I mean,
The
still, you're
Lithuania one was like
yeah,
that was
that
the
was
writing.
awful.
The writing was on the wall
Yeah,
after
that
that.
was
It was
the
like, oh, the heart's not there.
yeah, no,
Um,
that was yeah, that should have really they should have definitely yeah, that should have definitely opened my mind a bit more to see that Germany would have probably beat USA in that fashion. Because I mean,
Same here. Yeah.
they came in there and they did it, man. They took care of business. I can't even hate on them, man. They came in there and they made quick work of them. I mean, it was a close game, sure, but you're the number one team in the whole tournament for a reason. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They kind of played sloppy and careless, like we said.
So to move on from there, you've got the final game of the tournament. For all the kahunas, Germany beating Serbia 83-77, winning the 2023 FIBA World Cup. This was very impressive. Again, Serbia has had themselves quite quite the tournament, but Germany has just been a little bit better, and they remain undefeated. They win the whole damn thing. Um, Absolute banger of a tournament for them. So you could get right into it, man.
Yeah, but first, man, I got to mention, I got to give them their props, man. They came into this tournament. I expected them to be like one of the stronger teams, but not this, man. This
Yeah,
team was on par with I don't even know, man. They literally went undefeated. There was a few games where I wouldn't say they struggled, but it was a little bit close, but it was against the powerhouses. They
yeah,
took care of business when needed. They had a great tournament, man. So I'll get right into it right now. Also, props to Serbia, man.
100%.
Great tournament. So they come up short again because I believe in 2018 they lost in the FIBA
Second. Wow,
championship to Spain. So yeah,
right there,
that's
man.
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you got Germany shooting 49% from the field to Serbia's 41%. You have both teams shooting 31% from three, 88% from the free throw line for Germany to 84% from Serbia. 14 assists for Serbia to 13 assists for Germany. So, like we mentioned last game, huge scoring game. This one, a lot more defensive oriented. It was very low scoring, and they held each other. They played very. I watched the first half of the game, and I fell asleep because it was very early, and I stayed up all night to watch it, and I fell asleep at that halftime. So
right.
I tried. But yeah, you have 12 offensive rebounds from Serbia to 11, 24 defensive rebounds for Germany to 17. Germany with 35 rebounds to 29, 9 steals for Serbia to 5, 2 blocks from Serbia to 1, 14 turnovers for Germany to 12, 22 fouls for Germany to or for Serbia to 21, and you have Serbia both teams tied at 32 paint points. You have 46 points from the bench from Serbia to 15 for Germany. So another strong outing from their bench once again, like we've seen the whole tournament. And you have Germany leading this game 21 minutes to Serbia only leading it for 13 and a half. It was a neck and neck game. First half was really fun to watch, very close game. There wasn't really any push away. I mean, the third quarter is where everything went wrong for Serbia. I didn't get to watch that, so I don't know how it went that third quarter, but the first half was phenomenal. They were neck and neck with each other. It was so close, very back and forth. So it was very fun to watch that part of it. But I'll get into the stats for Germany. So I mean, you have Isaac Bonga, 7, 2, and 0. Daniel Tice, 2-4-2. Mo Wagner, 8-4-0. Schroeder, 28-2-2, continues that fantastical run he's had. Andres Up, 7-0-1. Jonas Voigtman, 12-8-3. And Franz, 19-7-2, man. He got player of the game for this.
Yeah, just
So
such a great return for him.
very great. Like we said, the last 3 games, man, he killed it. He came back. He did exactly what Germany needed out of him, and he gave them
Yeah.
that extra star they needed. And man, they took advantage of that. And I'll get on to Serbia right now. Nikola Milutinov, 2-4-4, kind of a different, slower game.
Rough one for him. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's usually he was on one the whole tournament. Alexa Avramovic, 21-1-2. Dejan Divdovic, 2-2-0. Marko Guduric, 4-3-2. Bogdan, 17-3-5. Jovic, 9-8-1. Filip Petrusev, 10-4-0. And Stefan Jovic, 3-0-0. And I mean, their bench has killed it this whole tournament, man. And I mean, outside of Alexa, and Philip and Ivana, it's tough, man. I don't know what happened to Ognan Dobric. I don't remember if he got hurt or not.
I imagine so, because he only played
he only
2
played
minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, let me check. I think he actually did. I don't really remember off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, very, very interesting tournament, though, man. I mean, it was not at all what we expected the outcome to be.
No.
I mean, maybe some people had these teams in the final, but I don't know if they had these teams together playing against each other. I mean, I personally did not, and I got to put respect on both these teams, man. They're both phenomenal. They came and played. They're the future of basketball in a way. I mean, Germany, they're a lot better than I remember. They're getting better, like exceptionally better than they were just 10 years ago.
Well, I just to have a game where you score 113 against the US,
Yeah.
so a high scoring dogfight, and then being able to hold your own in a low scoring dogfight.
Yeah.
That shows a lot of grit and determination. Again, against a Serbia team that just gets a lot of bench production. I mean, 31 points between Alexa Avramovic and Filip Petrusev. Like, that's great production. Again, rough outing for Nikola Milutinov, who, like we said to start this, he ended up on the all-second team for the tournament. And to have a performance like that in the final, rough. We've talked about Nikola Jovic just not really like kicking it into second gear like we assumed he would. He had a game or two where he did, but it's been very stagnant for him. But as we've talked about, Bogdanovic, man, he's kind of been like the steadfast dude who's just like every game, if one guy's showing up on Serbia's team, it's him.
Yeah.
Everyone else aside from Milutinov has kind of been a coin flip. It's either a whole lot of nothing or just, or you get a game like you did from Avramovic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Germany, man, they
killed it, man.
Yeah. I just killed it. And they'll give it to you however you want it. Like we saw Daniel Tice go for 21-7. And we've seen games where Mo Wagner's going for 25-10. We've seen games where Franz is putting up nearly 30. Dennis is going for nearly 30. Andres Opes has had like a few games where he scored 20. Like they'll give it to you however you want it. Jonas Voigtman, 12-8-3 today. Like
he's been solid the whole tournament also, man.
Yeah, they've got guys who it's like we'll adjust to you. However you want to play to us, we'll adjust to you. We've got guys who can get it. Like you said, the big turning point in this game looked like the third quarter. I mean, only 10 points for Serbia in the third quarter. That is just a very, very, very rough mark to have in a game that was so tight in the first and second quarters. So, granted, they were able to come back and have a relatively strong fourth quarter, but too little, too late. And Germany pulls away with the win here. So, just kind of a one trip and fall, and that's all she wrote. So
yeah, I mean, they did it, man. I don't even know. It's just really odd that this was that's how it ended. But I mean, they came out and they showed up. They played very well. I think they like we said, they have a lot of great size and athleticism, man. They have a lot of bodies that throw at you in different ways. They also very good as a team. They have a lot of camaraderie. And I liked how they meshed the whole tournament. They played very well together. And I think that
Yeah.
was nice to see. Most of these European teams did. And I think that was kind of at times somewhat of the USA's lacking. But I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't know.
Cultural pride, just a different animal and stuff like this. It means so. Again, I think we talked about before, like the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
It's like for the U.S.,
The
like
US
most people
was
just don't
very
care.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you see like, Dominican Republic comes to play and dude, you'd think you're in the DR. It's like everyone that's Dominican is there and it's like this is their life.
Oh,
The enjoyment and the fan what do you participation,
yeah.
the player participation and just love and care for everything. It's just a whole different animal. And when you're playing with a purpose, it's different than when you're just treating this as like a warm up for a season.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one, man. And I think, yeah, I mean, I fully agree with you on that. Cultural pride is very big in most sports. And I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know how the USA goes forward. And I mean, Canada gets better, I think, with time too. They're just gonna keep piling on players,
Yeah.
which they already have a phenomenal team. Germany gets better, I think, most likely. Serbia gets better, most likely. I mean,
Yeah, Serbia gets to add Jokic eventually. France will potentially add Wembanyama and Bilal Coulibaly. Uh, Greece will get Giannis.
yeah,
Canada will get Jamal Murray and whoever else comes out of Canada from now on. Like, I mean, we might even see Wiggins at some point. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm
you
saying.
know,
They
they,
have options.
exactly. Like
They have
these
a
teams are just
lot.
going to get better and better.
I think the USA, I don't know if they necessarily are golden. I don't think they can go into next. I don't think they should. Depending on the team, I'll say that. But if it's a team like this, I don't think they can go in as the favorites.
No, they got to add more. Guys need to come, or again, it has to be something where if let's say they were on the same unit, it's like fine, but you guys need to play like your life depends on it because
Yeah,
everyone else is going out there like it's their last chance,
I
and
know.
you're the only one that goes out there like
So
this is just
irritating.
exactly like it's almost like a roadblock in the middle of your way. It's like come on, man. But regardless, I I've always felt this way about US international competition. It's like
Yeah,
aside from like soccer, US and maybe
yeah,
hockey, US
yeah.
international competition is for the
I,
most part just it
I,
hasn't been the same since the 90s.
no, I mean, I will say, I guess the WBC. I like the team they put out this year for USA. It was a great team,
First time. Yeah, first
phenomenal.
time they all were like, we'll
And they
play.
made it to the championship. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that was very fun, and I hopefully we can see something like that for basketball because we haven't seen it since 2012. And I mean, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
man, we haven't seen a team
It's
that
been a
has
long time.
KD, Kevin Durant, or sorry, Kobe, and it's just like we need a team like that once again for the Olympics, especially. I would
Yeah.
think more players will come to play for the Olympics. I would
I
hope.
hope.
I would hope because they won in 21, but they barely scraped by to win the gold. So
Yeah.
maybe this time around they can get a team together because I personally don't think USA should be number one going in if they have a team like that again because
Yeah.
I think the world's getting better, man. I think, and if a team like Serbia has Jokic, I mean, like you said, I mean, you're adding the best player in the world to a different team, to a team that was already in the championship for this tournament. So I mean,
Yeah. And I like we've talked about, a lot of these guys that aren't like NBA names or G League names or, like college, high school
hey,
guys, like we don't know what the home like what each country's like best players are. So
dude,
for all we know, South Sudan's best players might not even have played. Maybe they're like, I'll wait for the Olympics. Maybe Latvia. I mean, we know they're missing Porzingis.
yeah,
Lithuania might be like there might be fantastic Lithuanian players that haven't played yet. So we don't even know if they've got a situation like us where it's like KD sitting at home when he should be
yeah,
playing. Like it could be the same thing for these other countries. And if that's the case, if they all start showing up come Olympic time and the US isn't really ready for it, it's gonna be really tough sledding. And you
I'm with you,
know,
man. I just hope they can add like a I mean, I'm trying to think about it. Who is the best? I think having someone like Anthony Davis would be beautiful.
Yeah,
I don't. I
for
don't see
him
that.
it's all health.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that
Yeah,
happening. And I don't.
yeah,
I think that's technically the best big man from the U.S. I would say as of right now. That's in the league.
yeah, probably. I mean,
Mm.
like one thing we haven't even talked about at all is like, where's Joel? Is Joel Embiid from
He's from
Nigeria?
Cameroon,
Cameroon. Okay,
but I think he technically plays for the Spanish team. I believe because he has
really
Spanish citizenship or something. It was really weird. I was.
interesting.
I don't think he. I don't think he doesn't play for Cameroon.
Okay, because whatever team Joel Embiid would technically play for in this tournament, if we say like, I mean, they didn't qualify for the Olympics, so we're not going to see him here. But in another 4 years, could a Joel Embiid, if he's still, I mean,
What
a
he
lot
is.
of guys are, their peaks are lasting longer than expected. So if potentially Joel Embiid is still looking like he is today, and in a few years, I'm telling you, man, it's just like the U.S. They've got a target on their back, and
Oh,
a
I'm.
lot of these teams are going to get a whole lot better.
That's why it scared me. I don't know if they
Yeah.
necessarily are favorites going into the next tournament. Seeing this, 'cause I mean, Australia, they went out pretty fast. I mean, they're a very good team.
Always a powerhouse. Yeah.
Always. So you got France coming back. They're not going to play that sloppy. I can
No.
guarantee you they will not play that sloppy in Paris next time around for the Olympics. So that's a team. And I wonder, like you said, Victor might play.
Yeah. If he doesn't play, that I'd lose respect for him. Honestly, I
Yeah,
unless he's hurt. If
for your
he's
home
hurt, then
country, I'm
okay.
with you. I'm with you on that. For your home country, you should want to play. Yeah, no, I'm with you on
Well,
that one.
because it's in France. It's like if it was
It
in
is.
if it's in the Philippines, okay,
It's
like
different. Yeah, yeah.
I still think you should play, but it's like this is a moment where you should represent your country, but also it's in France. Like if there's
Exactly.
any time to participate, it's this one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
if he doesn't, then I genuinely a lot of respect will be lost there. Um, but yeah, it's going to be really cool to see what things are looking like next year for the Olympics because so many of these teams are just going to get drastically better.
oh yeah. No, I
And
expect that. Like you said, I would definitely
yeah,
expect a lot of teams to get a lot better because FIBA isn't really taken serious by some countries as much as the Olympics, obviously. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see, man, because yeah, like you said, there's only two ways USA can react. They don't care at all, or they're pissed off by this and they build a way better team that can compete with anyone. And I
and
hopefully
they've
that.
got the talent to do it. That's the thing. It's like
Oh,
they
that's the thing.
can do it.
No, they can make the best team in the whole planet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Frankly, too. Next time, I mean, I still think Steve Kerr is like a top three coach in this league. Some people would
yeah,
disagree, but I want Spoelstra head coach. Just saying. I think
yeah.
Spoelstra
You'll
is the
you'll
best
get
head
way more
coach.
fight out of them too. Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. That Spoelstra is the best head coach in the league.
Yeah. Steve Kerr is a fantastic coach, but
Oh
his
no,
his
100%.
style is tailored for the Warriors,
It
and
is.
you
Yeah, for
see them
NBA,
trying to implement it.
I
Yeah.
think it's for NBA ball more so than world international ball. And I think
Yeah.
that's totally fine. And like you said, he is a great coach for the NBA. I think he is still a solid coach for FIBA, but I do agree with you. I think his game is more
Yeah.
chill for the NBA just because how the NBA landscape is compared to international play. It's a lot different game. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
someone like Spoelstra would be phenomenal and he would get a lot more out of his players, I think, by attitude and such.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say if Pop is up for it, I want to see Pop too. I want to see him on the staff.
He was 21, right? He did 21.
Did he?
Or did he not? It wasn't Kerr. I remember that. It was not
It
Kerr.
was not Kerr.
I want to say it was 21 that he did it. You'd have
If
to
he
check.
did, I want it to happen again. I think he's awesome. I mean, I think everybody loves Coach Pop, but um
Oh yeah.
Pop FIBA coach.
I think he did 21 for the Olympics. I might be wrong, but I want to say because I don't think it was
Yeah.
okay.
Kerr succeeds Popovich as USA national team coach. Yeah, okay. So
Hey, they took gold when he was the coach, so
hey, who's shocked there? It's
team
Popovich,
wasn't
right?
strong. Team wasn't strong either, like this year. And it was
Yeah.
definitely better it's definitely better than this team, but it still wasn't a very strong team.
Yeah. And I mean, like Pop has kind of gotten some flack. I don't think rightfully so. I think the Spurs have obviously been kind of
Oh yeah,
a mess. So
that's
since
not a
since
very
2017, more so since Kawhi was gone. But
Yeah,
Um,
not a very good situation that he's been put into, and I don't think that's his fault whatsoever. I think it's
yeah,
more so an obvious tank they've done over there over the last few years. So I don't know if
yeah,
you can put that on him because that's a lot of tanking I think going on over there, which is fine. I understand it, but I don't think anyone should be blamed for that.
yeah. And I think now, again, like we talked about, it's not fair to put like the weight of the world on Wembanyama, but
Yeah.
I think if there's ever been a time where it's like I can look at that Spurs roster since Kawhi was gone, since LaMarcus Aldridge and that whole era was over, if there's any Spurs team that I could look at and be like, they have a chance, I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell looks very solid. Keldon Johnson has silently been one of the better players in this league the last couple of years. Wembanyama, of course, again, floor might be one of the best like
Rim
defensive
protection.
centers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah, literally.
That's
One
just
of
the
the
floor. So you get
best
any
rim
sort of
protectors.
sliver of offense, like you're looking at 15, 8 to 10 rebounds and like
Yeah,
3+ blocks.
I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, yeah, we're gonna see, man. There's definitely a lot of positives out of there. Oh, also to mention, I believe I saw something. Kevin Knox did re-sign with the Trailblazers. Small news, but
I did.
something,
Yeah. That
something that
was
came up.
yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something I saw. It's small, but still something.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of veered off topic a little bit, but because, this is, the FIBA tournament, again, this is sort of like a precursor to the Olympics. And it's interesting to look at, again, this is more so like playing the long game where
Yeah,
we're all trying to see, okay, what is this going to lead to? Because again, these teams aren't complete. This is kind of like we're just running this right now. Some guys aren't playing. Again, we know Giannis, a little bit of a knee thing. Didn't want to test it. Jamal Murray, same deal. Porzingis, you said the foot. Like guys are hurt at the moment. They're not wanting to play. So the Olympics are going to look a whole lot different. And I to move off of there, we did want to get into the awards of everything.
yeah,
And to break down kind of how this entire tournament wraps up, we've got Germany winning gold, Serbia winning silver, of course, and then Canada winning bronze, beating USA in the match for third place. So it shakes down like that pretty
yeah.
much. And again, you asked me 5 days ago if this is what it looks like at the end of it all. I would never have guessed that the 1, 2, 3 is Germany, Serbia, Canada.
Yeah, I couldn't have told you that myself either, man. I mean,
And
there's a
I'm no like
upset.
nationalistic patriot or nothing. I'm
Yeah.
not like,
No, yeah, not
yours
me
over
neither.
everyone.
Me
Yeah.
neither. But I just feel like it was the common powerhouse, man. I,
Yeah.
I think USA was it was either USA or Canada for me.
Yeah.
That's what I 100% thought. And to see Canada get bronze and that being the best that team that I picked to get and they just got bronze kind of shows a lot, man. It shows that the world really is getting a lot better.
Yeah. And I shout out Noah Lyles because he got fucking torched for his take on
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
Noah Lyles is looking pretty damn smart right about
Looking
now, I
smart,
will
man. I mean,
say.
USA is 3 for 4, I believe, since the comment. So I mean,
And I would agree with him. I'm just saying. Again,
I
the
see it,
people who
man.
bring up soccer, it's like it's
Oh yeah.
facts. It's like the English Premier League might be the best league in
Oh yeah.
total for soccer.
But it's not the
However, it ain't the world, man. Like they're not calling themselves the world champion. So, Americans, man, some of y'all need to chill. All right. And you just lost to fucking Lithuania. Stop talking. All
yeah.
right. Yeah. If you ever want to be anti-American, just bring up Lithuania and you'll get to some people. But moving on to the awards. Winning the MVP of the FIBA tournament, Dennis Schroeder.
Well
Um,
deserved.
again, another example of if you asked me at the start of this entire thing, who's winning the MVP, I don't think Dennis Schroeder probably wouldn't even be in my top 15. No shade to Dennis Schroeder, but if
Oh,
anything, I would have said like Franz from Germany
yeah.
over Schroeder. Granted, it could have been Franz had he not gotten hurt. I mean, we saw the last few performances from him, but
Yeah. No,
Schroeder was one of the best players,
in the whole thing,
like
man.
in total, yeah.
Whole thing. Yeah. Big
And to
time.
have a final game like he did of 28-2 against Serbia to win the tournament, that's about as good a way to go out as you possibly can. So, congrats to Dennis Schroeder. We will real quick look up his tournament totals here. Um, in the entire tournament, Schroeder averaged leading Germany 19 points per game,
Yeah.
6 assists per game, and had an efficiency rating of 17.6, which
For
Well,
sure.
Franz was the only guy close at 17.3, but again, he missed quite a few games. So,
Yeah.
Schroeder, man, hell of a series for him. And again, he plays for the Raptors now, right?
Yeah.
Um, this is going to be, Raptors fans, kind of like we talked about the Brooks with the Rockets. Like Raptors fans should be seeing this hyped.
Yeah.
A lot of questions about the guard position for them, but you got Schroeder, so he might be walking in the next season feeling like a star. And from there, we got the best defensive player. Dylan Brooks, man, the
Yeah.
meme. This is the worst thing that could have ever happened if you don't like Dylan Brooks. He's never gonna stop talking now. This is like if you were a 49ers fan and then Richard Sherman, gets all pro. This is like the worst moment for you. It's like fuck, now we could talk a ton.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, what was it like last week? He called himself the best defender in the world.
Yeah.
Well, literally is.
Proved it. No,
Yeah,
he had a great
literally
tournament.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can say that. He did had a great tournament, man.
Yeah, and literally is that the case? No.
No.
But the title says it,
Yeah.
and
Still a phenomenal
let's
defender.
go. Let's have fun with it and say it's true.
Yeah.
And again, hell of a way to close out the tournament on 39 points against Team USA. Like I'm
Hey.
hard to talk a lot of shit about him now.
9, bro. Almost a 40 bomb on Team USA.
Yeah.
Man.
7 of 8 from 3. That is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate to see that, but
Too.
winning best coach of the tournament, Luka Banchi for Team Latvia. And Latvia was a team that we were kind of high on.
Yeah.
The odds weren't, the betting odds weren't. No one was really too high on Latvia, but they made top 8 and they looked very solid. Again, no Porzingis, but we know that team can look a whole lot better come the Olympics. So congrats to Luka Banchi for taking this team where it did. What are your thoughts on Team Latvia this tournament?
Yeah, like you said, man, they did it without arguably they're probably their best player. And remember, they had was it Darius Bertans?
Darius Bertans got hurt. Yeah.
Injured earlier in the whole tournament. He was one of their stronger scorers. So I mean, they did it without a lot of people. And I mean, I gotta give props to them. And they're like we mentioned, a small country, very limited population compared to these other countries. They came in, competed, and they did very well. So I have nothing bad to say about them, man. They came to play. They did a very, very good job.
100%. And shout out to Arturs Zagars for getting on the all-second team here. Because that's what we'll lead into. The all-star team and then the all-second team for this entire tournament, the best players of the tournament. And we talked about this a tiny bit before we actually started recording. I do like how the only people on this list won. Like these were top 8 players or top 8 teams, and their players got on. It makes winning matter because Carlik Jones probably should be on here. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson probably should be on here, but you didn't win. And guess what? Winning's important. You play to what's his name? The Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. It's like you do. It has to matter. So we'll just start off with the all-second team here. A dude we talked a lot about really helped this Italy team kind of get to where they needed to be, despite where they needed to be not really being that high.
Yeah.
Simone Fontecchio, fantastic tournament for him.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on him, man? He looked really good.
Yeah, you Jazz fans, man, you guys got something to look forward to, man. He's a very solid player. I don't think he's that old either. I'm pretty sure
he's young.
He's relatively young. So, I mean, very interesting player, great scorer, showed it the whole tournament. And he actually played some very solid defense too. I mean, I saw a lot of Italians in the comment section on a post a few weeks ago about the power rankings of the players, and they didn't have Fontecchio in the top 5. They're like, "Where's Fontecchio?"
Yeah,
it's funny to see that, but no, man, he was great the whole tournament. He was definitely the star of that team, and I can't wait to see him keep going to Italy, and I can't wait to see if they grow more as a basketball country or not, because they're not a bad country at all for basketball. It's just they're a bit in a weird spot, but I think having someone like that to be a building block going forward, that's a great player to have, man. Yeah.
For the tournament, he averaged 18 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists.
Yeah.
Tied for first on his team with Marco Spisu with 15 with an efficiency rating of 15. He looked great, man. Shooting percentages were pretty high too. Like this dude just had himself a great tournament. And again, even like Saman Fatekio, he's not gonna blow the roof off in the NBA, but he's a great building block for this Italy team. And if your team, I mean, Italy fans are always hyped about their own, their home country. So I know they're gonna be excited regardless, but you really should be excited because he looked fantastic out there. So um, having a positive plus minus too is always a good thing, especially for such a low scoring team like Italy.
Yeah, definitely.
Also making it, we just talked about him, Artur Zagars for Team Latvia. He was another dude that kind of just quietly kept that team alive. They looked really good shooting the ball, and we know that. Like all these fucking European countries, they're born shooting basketballs. He had himself quite the tournament, averaging 12 and a half points per game, 2.5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists. Kind of doing a bit of everything. Led team or second on his team in efficiency rating with 15.3. He had himself a great tournament as well. What were your thoughts on Saw guys?
Yeah, like you mentioned, man, another shooter from that team. They had a bunch of shooters, but also he's a very solid facilitator. He was one of the better playmakers on that roster. And I think getting the ball to your shooters is huge. And they were one of the best shooting teams in the whole thing. So, I mean, props to him. He did a great job. Latvia, yeah, great job from them, man. I can't even say it enough. They're a very small country. They came to play, man. They did very good.
Yeah, fantastic tournament for them. Again, something to be totally proud of. Not with your not having your best player there, and to make it into the quarterfinals is very impressive. So
yeah, it's not just a normal good play. It's an all-star caliber player. Like it's a very good player you're missing. So I mean, something to look forward to maybe next tournament.
Big time. To move on to the third member of the FIBA All-Second team, we've got Jonas Valanciunas from Team Lithuania, also NBA. I mean, one of the better NBA centers, playing for the Pelicans. Huge tournament for Lithuania, and Jonas Valanciunas right in the center of it all. We'll just get right into kind of his performance throughout the tournament, leading Team Lithuania in points at 15, rebounds 9, assists only 0.5. He's the center, and he's not like Jokic. So, but he had a great game, a great tournament all around. I mean, 15 and 9 in shorter games, like as a big man, that's pretty impressive. And again, looked good against Team USA, helped beating them. Huge tournament. Like, what are your thoughts on him this entire time?
Yeah, he's a phenomenal rebounder. He's always been that. I mean, he showed it once again. He put it on display. Solid scoring from him also, man. 15 points from him that's big, man. I mean, he was definitely the anchor of that Lithuania team. He was, I guess I would say he's probably the headliner of that team, I would say. I mean, I'd probably say he's the best player on that team. But still, he was one of the biggest pieces for that team. That was a lot better than probably a lot of people expected. They were the number 1 3-point shooting team in the tournament. And he got boards, man. I mean, they were a very strong rebounding team. They were a bigger team. So him having that size and such, I think he was great. He obviously, like you mentioned, he killed USA when we played him. Great tournament from him. He's always, like you said, he's a solid center. He's very solid in the NBA. He's not.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just had a great tournament too. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, like you said, the rebounding. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in basketball. Him, Clint Capella. They're 3 of the best in terms of just being like big time offensive rebounders. So it's no shock that Lithuania was a big impact on the glass there. To move on, Team Serbia, Nikola Milutinov. Talked about him quite a bit. He looked really good for them playing center. What are your thoughts on him this tournament?
I mean, I've never really heard of him before this, man, and he played, man. I mean, he was literally the second best rebounder per game in the whole tournament. He was putting up good amount of points. He was literally doing it all the whole tournament. He was great for them. I mean, he was someone I like I said, I didn't know who he was, and he totally got on my radar. And I the whole tournament, he had great games, almost every game except the final game. I mean, I don't think I remember a game where he didn't have 10 rebounds and he didn't have 10 points. I mean, he was filling up the stat sheet every game he played. He was phenomenal for them. He was one of their headline players. He's probably their second best player on that roster, that whole tournament.
I think he is, but
Yeah.
it's Bogdan and
Yeah.
him, and
And
then
him. Yeah.
from there, it's like, it
Then
doesn't
you can
really
go
matter.
two-ways. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely say, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. Speaking of his numbers, 12 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, and second on the team in efficiency rating at 19.5. Like, he just
Yeah.
had himself a tournament. And like you said, those numbers would look even better if he didn't have kind of a clunker of a final
Yeah.
game. But
Yeah, man.
overall, that dude's been spectacular, and he might be someone we potentially see getting an NBA
Yeah.
contract. I mean, I don't know what he looks like contractually in Serbia, but he could be someone we see on a roster. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, these European bigs, man, they get a lot of love in the NBA, so it wouldn't shock me to see him get signed at some point down the road. And the final player of this list potentially could have been on the All-Star team had they not been hurt. You've got Franz Wagner from Germany, up and coming star for the Orlando Magic. Franz twisted his ankle and was out for like 3 or 4 games for Germany, but came back with the vengeance, man. Had a few 20 bombs, 20 plus points. Finished this game with like 17, I think, 17 and 9. Great shooter. Finished the tournament second in scoring for Germany at 17 points per game. Averaged 6.5 rebounds and 3 assists. With the 17.3 efficiency rating, which was only 0.3 off from Dennis Schroeder. So Franz was great. We already know how good he looks in the NBA, but what are your thoughts on him in the tournament despite the ankle?
If that ankle didn't happen, he's easily on the All-Star team. I don't think there's a shot that he's not. He had a phenomenal tournament. He showed he can play many different brands of basketball. He's very versatile. He's not just a scorer. He can do many other stuff. Super athletic, super great height. So, he provides a lot of stuff for that team. He was a solid playmaker. Like you mentioned, 9 rebounds. That's pretty big for a team that they're very big already. So, I mean, it just adds more. I mean, phenomenal tournament. I mean, it's too bad those 3 games got taken away from him. And yeah, I mean, he's a big reason why USA lost. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And like we talked about before too, if it weren't for the ankle, he could have potentially won the tournament MVP. So, Schroeder, congrats, but Franz was kind of right on your tail there. So
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think that's very possible.
Yeah. To move on from there, we're going to get into the actual all-star team, and these are the 5 best players that FIBA recognizes from the tournament. And leading off, as we just talked about, Dennis Schroeder, point guard. We know how great he is in the NBA, but like we said, I mean, we'll go over it one more time. 19 points a game for him, 6 assists, and led Germany in efficiency rating. This dude has had so many great performances this tournament. The 33-point bomb he had like 4 or 5 games ago.
Yeah.
The final game here, 28 points to help lead Germany to win. Like, Schroeder's been here killing it this entire time.
Yeah.
To help backpack this team when Franz was out. Still killed it when Franz was back. Schroeder is just a beast this tournament. I mean, if you got any more thoughts.
I mean, you got pretty much all of them, man. He came in, he played, he did very, very good. He's the main reason that team went all the way. He was phenomenal playing the point guard position, and I'm glad he's getting his recognition, man, because he deserves it.
Yeah, 100%. To move on from him, someone else we've talked about, your guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yes.
If Canada wins, he's easily the MVP of this tournament. I think he was probably overall the best player in this tournament, aside from maybe Luka, or Carlik Jones or Ronde. But like overall, Shai was incredible. I think he led the tournament in efficiency rating because he's sitting here with a 30.4 efficiency rating. Nobody else even hits 20 on Team Canada. Nobody else on Team Canada hits 15 in efficiency rating. Yeah, he finished averaging 24.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. He was just nuts. Shai, again, second or third in scoring last season, averaging 30 a game. He was unbelievable. I don't think anything's going to change this season. If anything, he's going to get better because the team around him is going to is going to look better. So Shea was great. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, man, he killed the tournament. He was definitely the headliner for Canada, and he showed out, man. I mean, like you said, the 30 efficiency rating, I don't even remember hearing about that from anyone else in the tournament, honestly. I'm guessing Luca probably had something like that, or Carly Jones probably had a high efficiency rating like that. But that's a pretty big number right there. I mean, he did it all, man. He rebounded, he play make for them, he scored for them, obviously. I mean, he had big moments. I mean, today he hit a clutch three against Mikkel, crossed him over to the floor and hit a big three that put them up. So I mean, he had a very good tournament, man. I mean, he showed out against Luca when they played. He had a great game against Luca. He had a great game against USA today, man. So it's not like he was going against lesser talent. He did it against everyone. He's very great game. Great tournament for him, man. Yeah, very shout out to him, and can't wait to see him play this year.
Yeah, it's funny that his 31 points got overshadowed by Dylan Brooks.
Yeah,
people are gonna forget that right next to Dylan Brooks, Shea dropped 31 in the final game of the tournament to get Canada a medal here. So yeah, Shea he's one of the best players in the world, and I think he proved it once again in this tournament.
Yeah.
To move on from there, we've got Anthony Edwards for Team USA. Anthony Edwards had a solid tournament. He had a few games where he looked great. We've kind of talked about how Team USA sort of has a problem of too many talented players.
Yeah.
Too much attempt at spreading the love, and it kind of prevents someone from really taking over, even though I think we all agree that Anthony Edwards, like, that was the guy they wanted to go to be the best player on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, literally the only guy on this roster averaging 10 or more attempts. Like the second highest, he averaged 15 attempts from the field. The second highest on the roster was Jalen Brunson at 7.6.
Yeah.
He averaged double the next guy in attempts scoring, and surprisingly only averaged 19 points per game. So efficiency, very, very much down for him. Only 4.5 boards and 3 assists. As someone who jumps out of the gym like he does, you'd hope the rebounding would be up. Didn't even lead the team in efficiency rating. So Anthony Edwards, he had some great performance. Mikkel was 16.9.
Yeah.
Led Team USA in efficiency rating. So, and not only that, I mean, I know plus minus isn't everything, but he wasn't even top 4 or 5 in plus minus. Leading the way was Halliburton with 13. He was at 8.3. So, and was supposed to be the guy. He had a few great games, took more shots than anyone. However, I'd argue that he probably shouldn't be on this list personally. Probably someone else that deserved it. Who did you say?
I said maybe second team.
Yeah, second team I think would be a good place for him too. But again, this is kind of where we get to the teams that didn't really win. Their guys aren't on here, and there are a few guys that should have made it over. I think Anthony Edwards here.
Yeah.
But 19-5. That's not bad.
No, not at all.
Not bad. So, congrats to him. Unfortunately, US doesn't really get to walk away with anything here other than, a few high fives and some cool moments, but that's about that for them.
Yeah.
Winning silver again, Team Serbia, their best player, Bogdan Bogdanovic, had himself a series. Again, Anthony Edwards averaging 19 looks a little rough considering where his expectations were, but where the team's expectations were. Bogdan Bogdanovic averaging 19 without Nikola Jokic, and with Nikola Jovic not really stepping up, and Milutinov having kind of a rough final game. Bogdan's 19 looks a whole lot better here.
Yeah.
Averaging 19, averaged 3 boards a game, and around 5 assists with a 21.6 efficiency rating, best on the team. He had a great tournament. Bogdan's someone we all kind of know is a great scorer. He's been since Sacramento. What are your thoughts on him in this tournament?
Man, he was the most consistent guy on that team. Like we mentioned, there's a lot of coin flips on that team besides Tunov, and he he had a bad last game, but he was very consistent all tournament. But so was Bogdan, man. He was the most consistent player. He was the headliner of that team. He was the star of that team, and he led them all the way to that tournament, man. So I think this is more than deserved for him. I think he had such a good tournament, and I'm glad he's also getting recognition for that.
Yeah, it was a great time for him. And again, it's just I really hope we get to see Jokic there because that's going to be quite the tandem unit. So,
hey,
yeah,
definitely, man.
Getting into the final player here, we all know and love him, man, Mr. Luka Magic.
Oh yeah,
Luka Doncic, 4-team Slovenia here, getting the final spot on the All-Star team. To no avail. 27 points per game, 7 boards, 6 assists, 26 efficiency rating, 10 over the second highest on his team. Luka was just incredible. It's just a shame that again, he plays such a specific way that requires such a weird lineup around him. And that lineup never really gets to look that great.
No, not right now.
Again, we talked about at the start, Vlatko Konkar did not get to play, and
you're right.
We don't know what he would have looked like because again, we got to see for Team Italy someone like Simone Fontecchio, who's kind of in that Vlatko Konkar role. Yeah. Simone looked great, so who knows what Konkar could have looked like if he had played. But Luka still killed it.
Yeah,
no one shocked there. Yeah, he was great. He had some fantastic games again. One of the weeks led in scoring with 37 points. So, he had himself a tournament as always has to be expected, really. Do you have any more thoughts on Luka here?
Yeah, I mean, he was the main reason that team made the final 8, man. He's the only reason why that team
yeah.
So, I mean, to say that's crazy, man. He really put on for his country, and I think he did them proud. I just think, like you said, maybe someone like Konkar can help him a bit more. Because, I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard when you don't have any NBA talent compared to these other teams. These other teams are going to match you with more NBA talent. I mean, Canada, they just overpowered Slovenia, man. They had too much NBA talent. They threw Dylan Brooks on him. They had SJ have the game he had. He can't do it all. I mean, it's a lot of stuff you have to look into like that. And I mean, he can't do it all. He needs more firepower around him, man. So, I mean, for what he has around him, he did great. I don't think he could have done any better. I think once he gets someone like Konkar, maybe something else, maybe he'll have enough firepower, but even then, I think they're still a few years out.
Yeah, and I just looked it up too. These are the only, Konkar and Doncic are the only 2 current players in the NBA from Slovenia.
Yeah.
There is no one else.
I mean, Goran's retired, right?
Yeah. Because Zoran is the only one, and Goran is retired. Or I don't know if he's retired. I think it's just a free agent. And didn't play. So, they just don't really. They literally don't have the NBA talent to really make them do too much.
It's tough, man. Yeah, they're in a tough situation there because, like we mentioned, it's a very small country, so it might be a bit harder than they anticipate, I would say.
Yeah. Interesting here. I did not know Anthony Randolph is from Slovenia. That's interesting.
Is that the guy on the Warriors?
He spent some time with the Warriors.
That was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, power forward. Yeah, he was mid 2000s here. Warriors, Timberwolves, Knicks.
Yeah.
Minnesota again, and then the Nuggets. But yeah, they just don't really have the NBA talent. But like we saw from Luka and Konkar, that's 2 players in the last 5 years. So we could be seeing more and more Slovenians come into the league again. Latvia's getting a lot of love in the league. Finland's getting love in the I think these European countries, we're just going to continue to see more guys funnel in. And that's great for basketball. I think everywhere, the more international talent we get in the league, it provides such a different look at how basketball can be played. So I am excited about that. But that's going to wrap things up. Gone over the awards, gone over the games, gone over pretty much everything revolving around the end of the tournament. Again, to restate it one more time, we got Germany winning gold here, Serbia winning silver, and then Canada winning bronze.
Yeah.
Nothing for Team USA. So rough one for them, but great tournament overall. And I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage of the tournament. It's been a little funky again. The whole game watching thing has not been easy. It's they did not make it easy for any of us. But we We still put the content up for you because we care. Okay, we care. No, but yeah, great tournament, and we'll be putting out some more stuff. But this is where the real lull begins. We do have training camp that'll start in a few weeks,
Yeah.
maybe in like 2 weeks actually. So this is kind of a bit of a nothing stretch, but I will be looking out for, and I'm sure Dom will too. Seeing if any of these guys, we saw George Condon get signed to the Blazers from I think Team Puerto Rico. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a few more guys from this tournament make their way onto NBA rosters. So we'll be paying attention to that. But yeah, that is going to wrap things up. Episode 14 for Culture Cast. Thank you again, Dom. As always, In the Moment Hoops will be in the description. More stuff will be coming from them and myself soon. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Have a good beginning of your week tomorrow, and we will see you come the next upload. Thank you and peace.